And welcome back to the channel, The Voyager. We want to continue with our tour and our critique of the Sun Princess. So we have the videos coming up every day, hopefully, that tour the ship. And this will be our first video that talks about our experience so far, kind of our critique. So we are on day 3. This is Friday, and we just wanted to go over some of the things that we've noticed in the first 3 days. This is my wife, Eve, by the way, so
Hi.
she's going to participate. So let's talk about embarkation. Eve, what did you think about the embarkation process?
Check-in and everything went really well until we got to the line where we picked up our medallion.
So the lines were short.
They were very short and moved very quickly.
Okay. I thought it was good. You know, when the line started backing up, they immediately opened another screening area, and so that caused the lines to go down quickly. And then, of course, I took the bags to the bag drop, and what was nice about that versus some of the other areas, like where the Regal docks there in Galveston, is that it was inside. It moved very quickly. They had a separate line for putting the bags in, so you were just able to take them right up there, drop them off, and then move on over to get into the line of screening. So I thought that part of it was really nice. The facilities there were really nice.
Very nice.
But we did run into some issues as well.
Right.
So you want to bring some of those up?
When they canceled our trip to this trip on the 18th, because we were supposed to do back and back, they told us that the medallions we had been sent for the first part of our cruise the battery would not last, and so we would be getting new medallions. And since there was not time for them to mail them to us, that we'd need to pick them up before embarkation today.
At the embarkation.
Right.
So the big, I called at least 3 different times to make sure we did not need to take those original medallions on the cruise. And I was told by all 3 people at Princess, no, those medallions won't work.
Right.
Number 1, the battery's probably not going to last. And number 2, they're dated for the 18th of February. So you've got to pick them up at the cruise terminal when you embark. And we got through the line real quick, and we got up to the counter real quick. We had to go through the green line because obviously we didn't have the medallions. We couldn't or the blue line. We didn't have the medallions, so we couldn't go through the green line. We got up to the counter. She took our passports and everything, started looking for our medallion, and that's where the problem started.
Couldn't find it anywhere. She searched forever. We stood there for at least 45 minutes while they tried to figure it out, which was extremely frustrating.
Yeah, you got all these other people coming and going and getting in line to get on the ship, and we're just standing there for 45 minutes waiting for them to figure out, number 1, what happened. They came back at first and said, no, you're supposed to have your medallion. No, we were told we shouldn't bring those medallions.
Right.
So, we were here and told we were supposed to pick up medallions. So then she went and got her supervisor. And basically he said the same thing. Well, you should have brought your medallion. No, we were told not to bring our medallion. So eventually they had to go and print us a card, which took another 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
And the bad thing about printing that card was what?
Well, you couldn't use it for anything other than getting on the ship, and then we had to go to guest services and stand in line to get a new medallion.
So you know what if you've cruised before, you know what guest service is like on the opening day, first day of embarkation. The line was, out the door and passing. And this is a different area than what you have on the Royal ships. This is a dedicated room where they have a circle with different customer service people in it, but there's only one line, and that's at the outside of the door. So it was backed up all the way past all the elevators. So they didn't have a priority, or they didn't have a lead or suite line. It just was everybody was in line. Now, basically, the people that were in line had the same issue that we had. Most of them had been back to back, and they didn't have their medallion either because they were told the same thing we were, and so they were waiting to get their card. So that wasted another, I don't know, 40 minutes or so, of our trip.
Part of the problem there was that when we got there was already a line going in, and I think there were 3 customer service people there, and the supervisor came through, and the people in front of us were a little put out because they'd already been waiting 15-20 minutes when we pulled up, and he said, "Oh, no, you'll get right in." Well, then he went in and he saw that everybody that was in there already had people, so he went and he got more people. That got things moving along pretty well.
Yeah, that certainly helped. But if we hadn't raised a little stink about that, he was just going to walk away.
Right.
But when he said, "Oh, it'll be just a couple of minutes," I said, "No, it won't be a couple of minutes. We've already stood here for 20 minutes, and the line has not moved." So
right.
I give them credit that they went and got some other customer service people to sit or to be at those desks and help. These issues, they should have been worked out by Princess before we ever got on the ship. This cruise on the 18th was canceled over 2 weeks ago, from the day that they told us till the day that we sailed, and that gave them 2 whole weeks to work out all these details. This is their job. This is their industry. They know what needs to be done. Yet a lot of those small things that had to be taken care of by Princess before the sailing, they just never were taken care of.
No.
And what that did was caused us to waste an hour and a half of our time on a vacation that we're supposed to be enjoying, plus the frustration.
Yeah, it left a sour taste in my mouth, and it made me wonder what else was going to happen.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about customer service in a minute, but let's go on to the room. What do you think the good things are about the room, Eve?
Oh, the room is absolutely beautiful. There's plenty of storage. The bedding is wonderful. It's decorated very nice. The balcony is awesome. It's bigger than any balcony we've had for a while.
Yeah. We just got off the Regal in January, and we were commenting about how narrow, even though we've been on the Royal class ships many times, we just had forgotten how narrow that balcony was. But this balcony is really quite accommodating. It has 2 nice chairs and a small table, but there's plenty of room side to side and front to back.
Right.
And I'll be doing a stateroom tour here in the next few days so that you can see the stateroom itself and the balcony. Now, on the Sun Princess, they don't have regular balcony and deluxe balcony. Every balcony is a deluxe balcony or higher. So I think from what we have been able to see, all those balconies are deeper than what you have on the Royal class ships. What else did you notice?
The glass door in the shower is incredibly awesome. It beats having a shower curtain stick to you while you're trying to shower. And if you're like me, I don't always see very well. I don't see very well anyway without glasses. But when I get up in the middle of the night, there are motion sensor lights that come on, which is very beneficial and keeps me from running into things trying to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, there's one on each side of the bed in the nightstand, and then there's also one in the bathroom itself that stays on. Actually, it stays on most of the time. I've seen it go off a few times, but mostly, and at night, it seems like it's always on. So for us old people that have to get up all the time in the middle of the night, it's very convenient. Sure. You don't have to bring any extra lights with you. We used to bring those little electric battery operated candles and set in the bathroom so we could see. Now you don't have to do that. So that part is really good. What'd you think that's bad about the room, Eve?
Well, I think that the bathroom is a little on the small side. Normally on our cruise ships, we've been able to both go in there and at least move around to do what we had to do. However, on this one, it's a 1-person bathroom. There's enough room for 1 person to go in and do what they got to do and then get out.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's sitting on the commode and the other person wants to come in and wash their hands, they're going to have to sit on the guy's lap or the girl's lap on the commode
Exactly.
because there just is no room for two people in that bathroom.
Right.
It's very small. What do you think about the shower?
The shower is beautiful. However, it's a little tight, even for me. I'm not a tiny person, but people that are larger than myself would have a hard time, I think.
You know, we've had RVs, we've used RVs, we know what a small shower is like. But quite frankly, I think our last RV, the shower was bigger in it than it was
I
here.
think it was.
I mean, it's fine for taking the shower. The shower head works good. The water pressure is great. All that. But I can't dry off in there. I mean, I can kind of dry off a little bit like this and maybe like that. And then I have to get out of the shower to dry myself the rest of the way off. So you're constantly going to have water on the floor, which means you're going to have wet towels on the floor. But the room steward does come in and clean twice a day.
He does.
And gets that picked up. But just keep in mind, it is small. Go into it knowing it's small, but it's still, I think, so much better than what the old showers were with the curtain that you had to keep pulling off yourself all the time, and you had soap everywhere. So that's a plus and a minus at the same time. What about the entertainment? Oh, go ahead.
The other thing I was going to add is that this couch opens up so that you could have a family of 4 in here. I think it would be a little bit tricky, especially if you had kids. I remember growing up, we had one bathroom and there was a line all the time to get in there. It could be a little hairy trying to manage 2 kids or teenagers, God forbid.
Yeah, I think it's even too small if you just had 3 people. You know, if you brought an adult child with you, you know. By the time you pull this bed out, and there is absolutely no way that 3 people are going to be able to use that shower.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't be done. It could be, but it wouldn't be the most comfortable.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, you need to go into it with your eyes wide open that, hey, this is something we're going to have to deal with.
Right.
What about the entertainment?
What entertainment?
Okay, so this one we're going to talk about the bad first. There are no production shows.
None
whatsoever.
Anyway.
The Princess Arena itself is not completed. So it's not just about the fact that the show's not ready. It's about the fact that the arena itself is not ready. So it's so bad they got signs everywhere. They won't even let you get in. I've been trying to get in to film, and I've had a few little sneak peeks in there, and I could see wires hanging everywhere and all that, so I can see why they don't let people in. But it is totally not functional. I mean, they couldn't have a guest speaker in there. They can't have a comedy person in there. They couldn't have a band in there. Nothing. That area is totally closed off.
It's a similar situation in the dome.
Right.
Although you can use the dome, it's not set up for the entertainment that they're planning. Yeah,
the dome is set up, and we'll have a tour of the dome coming up as well. And it is very nice, by the way, the whole dome area. But there is no way that you could have entertainment in there right now. I don't think they have their lighting set up, their sound system set up. Certainly the Cirque du Soleil thing is not set up.
Right.
So there really is no entertainment. I mean, they brought on some comedians that perform either in Princess Live or in the Piazza.
It's not Princess Live.
Yeah, it's in the Princess Live or in the Piazza itself. So, you know, they're having 3 of those shows a day. It's not the same as being in the theater.
No.
It's not the same as being in, I forget what it used to be called on the Royal class ships at the front where you had that other big lounge area. So, I mean, we haven't even attended any of the entertainment. It's just not been appealing. It's not been something that caused us to say, hey, let's use our time to go there.
Well, the areas that are available have somewhat limited seating.
Yes.
I mean, the Piazza has more seating. It's designed very well, I think, for...
Yeah, much more seating than what the Piazza had on the Royal class ships, for sure.
And honestly, it really is. It's beautiful. They've done a nice job with that. However, if there's something going on down there, all these people. There is no way
Yeah.
for everybody to go and
No,
see
I mean,
it.
there's 4,000, 4,200 possible
Right.
passengers on this ship. Although I don't think there's that many on here right now. I'm not sure all the rooms are full. I'm not sure some of the rooms are not being held back. I know there's some rooms that are held back for the workers. But it doesn't seem that crowded, which is a good thing. But
Right.
I don't know if it's selling at full capacity or not. Of course, Princess doesn't tell us that. What I find interesting is, and you looked it up just a minute ago, how Princess described the entertainment on this ship. What was some of the words they used?
Oh, innovative and
Spectacular.
yeah.
I mean, beyond anything you've seen on the ship. But because they are not having any of the entertainment, they decided to give us all credit. $60 onboard credit per person. That means they think their spectacular production shows and spectacular Cirque du Soleil type show is worth $6 a day. I don't think so. I think Princess fell short there in their compensation. Now, we understood that we probably wouldn't get all of the
Right.
benefits of the entertainment. I mean, we've been on inaugural cruises before. However, the last one we were on with Carnival Vista, they had everything done. I mean,
Right.
they didn't miss anything. But for them to say, hey, all this spectacular entertainment is only worth $60 a week, Princess, I think you fell short there.
Mhm.
So anyway, they've been trying to make up with the different things at the Piazza and the Princess Live, but it's not even come close to making up for those large, extravagant production shows.
Right.
What do you think about the staff and the staffing, Eve? What's the good part about it?
The staffing since arrival have been the most friendly of any cruise across the board that I can remember.
And we've been on over 40 cruises, 44 cruises or something like that.
Right. And
Yeah, I think they've been very attentive. Everyone goes out of their way to
Right.
be friendly to you. You know, now that most of them also have the Medallion receiver on their iPads and so forth, they know your name when you walk
Right.
up there because your Medallion transmits. And I'd say at least 50% of the time, they're calling you by your name. Hi, Mr. X. Hi,
Yes.
Miss Eve. So how you doing today? I mean, what can we do to help you? And you know what?
it's a more personal experience.
Yeah, and it's been genuine, I think.
Oh, I agree.
Don't you agree?
I agree.
mean, it's not like they're putting it on. It's like they're happy to be on the ship. They are proud of the ship, and they should be. This is a beautiful ship.
It is.
And they want you to experience that beauty with them. So I think it's really been good that everyone has gone out of their way to be helpful and accommodating. What about the bad, though?
Well, not that I have a big problem with it, but you can't get your own food. It's a buffet, but you go and you tell them what you want. Now, the problem I see is that there are still people that put their arm over the glass to point to stuff, and they don't have enough staff to move people through very well.
Yeah, we just got off the Rotterdam in December, and they also serve the food at the buffet there, but it was much better organized. The stations were separated enough so that you didn't have long lines backing up, and they had plenty of staff at each station to
Right.
get the food quickly. And I'm going to point this out when I do the buffet tour. I think it's called the Eatery on this ship.
Right.
Well, that'll be coming up as well, and I'll show you specifically what I'm talking about. But basically, each station is maybe have, I don't know, 20 different food items. Well, you have to get in line at the beginning, and then they have one or two staff members
Right.
that walk you through all those stations getting your food while everyone else stands in line, and then they hand you your plate. That just doesn't work, especially when you're looking at the beginning of the dinner hour, a lunch. It's really bad. And then people don't know where to go to get in line, so
Right.
people are cutting in line. or people are waiting at a part of the line that looks like should be the beginning of the line. They've waited there 5 minutes, and then someone tells them, "Oh no, you have to go over there behind those other 25 people."
Exactly.
So that's really discouraging, and Princess is going to have to do something to figure out the logistics of that in order to make that work. I don't mind people serving me the food in the buffet. I'd rather get it myself so I can just go in, get what I want as quickly as I wanted. Like I needed some extra sour cream for my fajitas last night. I couldn't just go up there and get that. I had to get in line and wait for 20 people to move through the line just to pick up an extra thing of sour cream. By the time I get back to my table, my food's cold.
Yep.
So that's an issue that they're going to have to address, and they're going to have to figure out.
Right.
Guest services. Let's talk about guest services. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but let's talk about some of the other things that's happened with us here on the cruise.
I'm going to let you go with that one.
Well, let's talk about the good first. I do like the fact that guest services, it is in its own enclosed area.
Yeah, it gives you a little more privacy.
A lot more privacy. It is a lot more intimate feel than what they always had on the Royal class ships. But again, it's a big circular room, and it only has one door at the beginning. And so that door becomes a choke point for everybody, because nobody knows, okay, if I'm an elite, do I go ahead in front of all these people and get over onto because there's a certain station for elite guest members and suite members, but you don't know that when you're standing outside the line. And if you try to get in front of everybody to go look,
then they get irritated.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of really nasty looks.
Which I understand.
I understand that too. But I will say the staff at guest services has been very helpful. They've been very accommodating. We've had a lot of issues because of what happened with the cancellation of our first cruise on the back-to-back. Sure. And it's taken a lot of time and a lot of effort to get that sorted out. But the staff has been very accommodating in trying to get that done. So even though they're helpful, the bad part is the confusion that goes on there at guest services. People not knowing where to go, not knowing where the line starts, trying to cut in front, trying to just go into the area. So they're going to have to do something signage-wise or with some stances or whatever to help form a couple of lines there. I think the worst thing has been the poor communication, not between the on-ship customer service people and us, but between the on-ship customer service people and the Princess customer service people. So, just like going back to that medallion, the people on shore said, you got to have your medallion, or you can't have your medallion. The people at the boat said, oh, you should have brought your medallion. The problem also was the lack of communication broke down so much that it showed the cruise being canceled, which canceled all of our ability to use our medallion to buy stuff, to play at the casino, anything that medallion was used for other than getting into our room.
And you could buy it. You could buy soda with it.
Well, we had already bought the soda package. So we couldn't have bought a regular drink. So it just made it where you couldn't use it. And then I got on my folio and I saw, okay, here I had prepaid all my excursions, but yet on my folio on the ship, they charged me again for all those excursions. And I woke up at 4:30 in the morning because when you're coming from the States here, you're kind of all messed up anyway. And I made a mistake and opened up that folio and saw all these charges that shouldn't have been on there. So at 4:30 in the morning, I'm down at customer service. The girl, bless her heart, she tried to figure this out. I spent an hour with her trying to figure it out. She was telling me, no, you haven't paid for them. And I said, well, I've got my receipt right here on an email. She said, could you forward that to me? So I forwarded the email so she was able to read that, yes, we'd paid for the excursions. Yes, we have $200 onboard credit. Yes, we have other onboard credits. but none of it was showing up. And the bad thing, the result of that, was it took 3 total trips. 3 total trips. Each time waiting in line except at the 4:30 in the morning. 2.5 hours we spent yesterday wasting our vacation, having additional frustration just to try to figure out what was going on and get Princess to take care of it. And again, it wasn't the onboard people. It was the lack of communication between Princess on land and Princess at sea. And that's been my biggest issue in this whole deal of the back-to-back cruises, the cancellation of the cruises, is the lack of communication. Princess has got to do something about better communication, not only between them and us, but between their staff. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and that's causing a lot of irritation. And I know these are first world problems, but we're supposed to be on vacation.
Right.
And this is a very expensive vacation, and we're here to relax and to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been extremely frustrating. I would have to say this to Princess. You canceled our trip 3 days, 4 days before we were supposed to leave on the 18th. You knew it was canceled. You should have had all the accounting stuff for the people that were coming on this cruise taken care of before we got on the ship. That's where I have an issue. And it's not just with us. We've talked to several people that are having the same issue. Some are even having worse issues because they had 3 cruises scheduled. The first 2 canceled, and this one's been redone, and their account is screwed up majorly.
Yeah, we talked to one guy that had 3 back-to-backs. Mm-hmm. He had Easy Air. His first cruise was canceled. They rebooked the Easy Air. That cruise was canceled.
Right.
He had booked Polaris class, business class flight. So when they went to rebook his flight, they charged him $4,000 more.
And he had to pay it.
And he had to pay it so that he could get here. Now he's trying to work it out with Princess to get them to cover that expense, but that's not right.
No.
And I must say, they did not do that to us.
No.
They honored our original price on the flight. But they should also honor everyone else's original price on the flight.
I agree.
I know if I'd have got a bill for $4,000 and said, this is what you're going to have to pay to go.
Well, you know what I would have said.
Yeah, well, I mean, we wouldn't have gone. I mean, that's just ridiculous to have something like that happen. So there's got to be better communication, better customer service. That's where Princess, in my opinion, has really dropped the ball over the last few weeks.
And it's not the people on the ship. They've been absolutely wonderful. It's the people in corporate and their customer service. I'm not sure where the disconnect is. But
if you get to the right person,
disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky that we got a hold of a senior management person in customer service, and they took care of most of our stuff. Although no one thought through all these other things, like with the Medallion and with not being able to, our shore excursions and all that. No one seemed to think through all that. You would think a company that's been in business over 50 years would know how to handle a situation when a cruise got canceled, because this is not the first cruise that Princess has had to cancel in its 50 years of service. So those are the things that are very frustrating. I will say that the customer service supervisor in our situation here on board was finally able to cut through all the red tape. Took him a long time, but he was persistent. He said, look, I'm stubborn and I'm going to get this done. And he got it done.
He did.
He cut through all the red tape, fixed our problems, and I want to thank him for that.
Amen. So, thank you.
So that's the good and bad of the first 3 days.
Right.
Don't get us wrong. This ship is beautiful. And as you watch the tour videos that I'm going to be posting, or the ones that I've already posted, you're going to agree this is a beautiful ship. There's just some things that Princess has to take care of.
And then I'm sure it'll be absolutely fantastic like the other ones.
I mean,
we've
we're scheduled back to back in December to go back on this ship.
Correct.
I'm looking forward to it so that I can see what the entire ship looks
Yeah.
like and how it functions. And I'm sure they'll get it taken care of. But I'm not sure Princess is dedicated to take care of the communication problems that they're having. But anyway, enough ranting for today. Stay tuned for other tours. They'll be coming up. I probably won't be able to post any tonight, but I'll try to get some more tours posted tomorrow. Want to do a tour of the domes, probably what's going to be next. Then maybe we'll hit the Horizon Buffet. But again, thank you for tuning into our channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks. Check out my books on Amazon.com. And remember, you'll only regret the trips you don't take.